Are your MSP prospects walking away because of sticker shock? They see the bill, they say, oof, that is way too much money. And they say, you know what? We're not interested. How do we avoid this? How do we get over that? That ends at the end of this video because I'm going to give you the secret sauce and a tool specifically on how to overcome this so that way it literally never happens again. I truly want you to grow your MSP and build your MSP business. My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com. We help MSPs grow, whether it's sales training, marketing training, or even some business operations. And just a heads up, we're going to be covering why sticker shock happens, how to prevent it, and then some tools and frameworks that I'm literally going to give you the secret sauce on how to be effective with it. Which brings me to the next point. If you are watching this video or you're listening to the podcast, do me a favor, just hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and just two quick things. Number one, come hang out with us in the Discord, growth-generators.com/Discord. It is probably the most valuable community for MSPs on the internet. I love saying that, or at least MSP owners, salespeople, and marketers, because it's truly full of those people. And I hang out in there and do some free trainings, do some live Q&As, and I'd love to have you in there as well. And number two, in the podcast or video description, there are going to be a ton of helpful links, including a link to a resource that I'm going to be sharing with you that is completely free in this video. So let's dive in. Why does sticker shock actually happen, right? It's really the reason this entire thing happens, the prompt for this video, is because the client doesn't understand the value behind your actual pricing. I know that sounds kind of crazy, but usually when sticker shock happens, there is a massive lack in the pain process during your discovery, right? We have to make sure that we use our legs and walk around the office and figure out where the problems actually are. It's really important because sometimes you might be walking into clients where they're using either an MSP guy, or I got a tech guy, or worse, they're going to Geek Squad, or they're used to break fix alternatives, or you just are more expensive. But there's a reason you are there. Right? Naturally, people are going to resist what they don't understand or the value that we're providing. We have to make sure that as we're going through the sales process, which I'm going to walk you guys through right now, it's really important that we cover a couple things. This is the free resource. I'm not going to make you wait around for it, but there's two parts to this. There's a sales part and a marketing part. And you can see here, we have a sales qualified lead, an SQL. And that's somebody that we identify as our dream customer. Go grab the buyer persona at growth-generators.com/resources. And then after we identify them, we're going to reach out, whether that's email, LinkedIn message, however we decide. And we want to make sure that we book an appointment with them. We want to get some time on the calendar. Then we have to go through and have a good discovery day, which is the most important part. This is the most important part, especially when it comes to that sticker shock. We're going to head back to our office, build our proposal, and then we're going to go to their office and deliver that proposal, hopefully in hand. And they're going to make a decision. They're either going to say, yes, I liked it, no, I don't want it, or hey, I need a little bit of time to think about it. And I have tons of videos on this channel on how to address all of those. But truly, we need to make sure that we follow up. And I'm going to relate to this resource a handful of times through this. But we're at the discovery day. We have to make sure that in the discovery day, while we're there on site, talking to them, seeing the environment, seeing what they're working with, we do the right thing. We locate their problems. There's a reason we're in that room. If we weren't in that room, they're not just going to invite us in. They're not just going to say, hey, yeah, can you come to our office and just, I don't know, stand here for like an hour or so and just take up the most important person's time? It's never going to happen, right? We have to make sure that whoever we're meeting with understands that there are problems. They know that there's a problem. It's our job to identify that and also show how much of a problem it actually is. It is wildly, wildly important. Which brings me to the most important part of this video. We have to make sure that we ask really good questions. If we don't ask great questions throughout this process, we're never going to have success. On my little cheat sheet, I actually talk about a couple really good sales tips, right? We want to make sure that we're asking open-ended questions. We don't want them to give us. The worst thing in the world is a yes, no. We are not lawyers. They are not on the stand. This is not an interrogation. We need to ask open-ended questions to get really good answers to find the deeper needs. We also need to use the power of silence, as you guys already know. I'm a big fan of always having water. Take a sip of water. It lasts 3 seconds. And I'm going to take a sip of water to make you understand how long 3 seconds is, but also to give you a second to hit that like button, subscribe button, and that notification bell. I know, that was painstaking, but I promise you, that water prevents you from talking, prevents you from interrupting them, and it then gives you the opportunity for them to say, hey, I have more information that I'd like to give you. And then back to that cheat sheet, we also have the always build trust, right? Before talking about the price, position any upsells as solutions for their environment, and then follow up frequently are really important. And it's important to always be consultative and not salesy. Good questions to ask are during a sales meeting is, can you tell me more about that? Can you be more specific? And how long has this been an issue? This is going to massively, massively help your discovery process on your discovery day. What are those quantifying problems? We can ask those questions. They're going to give us feedback. We're going to see certain things about their current IT infrastructure, how much time they're losing during system issues or during just technology issues in general, and how much is it costing the business. We want to make sure that that business owner knows the true impact of the problems they're having. Remember, there is a reason we are there. We have to make sure that we can tell them that. And one of my favorite things to do is say, hey, let's say Sally is making $100,000 a year, about $50 an hour. If you go into somebody's office and you're like, hey, Sally, what kind of problems are you having? And Sally's like, hey, typically this printer, my poor cabinet here or bookshelf, my printer, it never works at least once a week. It typically, okay, how long does that last? It typically lasts at least an hour or two, and sometimes I have to get involved other people. If it's taking her, and she's one of many people in the company, an hour or two, we now know that that's costing the company $50 to $100. On top of that, not only is it costing $50 or $100, but it's also costing the company lost productivity. They're messing around with things that they shouldn't be messing around with. We need to make sure that we can clearly convey that message to our prospects long before we even deliver that proposal. It is really important that we go about doing that so that way the client understands. And if they have to get more people involved, trust me, once you start opening up that can of worms, it gets crazy. And all of a sudden, I'll take out more of my fake money here. But the business owner, if they're on earshot, is realizing that they are spending so much money. And I've been able to do this successfully too many times because they don't always realize how bad the problems actually are. They aren't sitting there. And even if they're the ones helping and it's the business owner, they're not sitting there tallying up how much time they're spending on technology problems. It's really, really important that we can clearly articulate it and basically paint a perfect picture of what's going on with their business. Without being able to do that, they're always, always, always going to get sticker shock. Truly. But how do we position the value before the price, right? The price is coming. We can let them know, hey, this is going to be, they're at least spending and burning X amount of dollars. How do we go about prepping the client? It's important to talk about a little bit about pricing in the discovery phase, preferably earlier on. You can always do a range. Hey, typically our services, typically clients of your size spend X amount to X amount, or typically we charge X amount to X amount for computers in your industry. And that's what it takes. But is this something that you might be in line with for investing? If they're like, that is way out of budget, we're going to end the conversation now, that's okay. You just save yourself the whole rest of the day. And you have to find the right time to put this in, but it is important because if you don't give them a range of saying, hey, we charge, I don't know, $75 to $150 per computer, and they're like, yeah, we don't even have a budget for that. We have 10 computers, even at $75 per computer, $750 a month. There's no way we can afford that. Okay, now you know that you're not even in the running. If they say, that's a little steep, but okay, let's talk, right? We can then go through and then highlight the value that we can actually go through and provide. That could be HIPAA compliance. That could be proactive monitoring, disaster recovery. There's cybersecurity, peace of mind. The list goes on and on and on. And one of the best ways that you can convey this is what's called a third-party story, a way that you have helped preferably somebody in a similar situation, right? Whether you avoided a major problem, you were able to resolve something, you were able to catch something way earlier that would have been imminent demise for that business. And those are going to be the ways that you can highlight your value without basically saying, I'm the greatest there is. We know you are. That's why you're watching this channel, because you are the greatest MSP there is. And you're probably the best because you're hitting that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell. But I say that lovingly because truly, you have to believe in yourself. You are providing the best services possible. And by you being in that moment, in that discovery call, you know their exact problems and you're figuring out whether or not you can solve their problems and get them the results that they actually need for their business. Remember, sometimes the business owner doesn't fully know what they actually need, and that's our job to truly help them. And then we want to make sure that we can overcome that pricing objection, because they might talk about it when we do deliver that proposal. We want to make sure that we reframe our costs so that $1,500 or that $750 might sound high, but is it high compared to the hundreds, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars that you're losing on a regular basis? This is the core difference between them. So as you're beginning to go through this process, you want to make sure that you're building trust through that storytelling, through that social proof. But most importantly, we want to make sure that we are providing as much value as we possibly can through that sale and fully understanding what's going right and what's going wrong. Because more than likely, there is something going right and there is something going wrong. It's our job to fully discover that, because sometimes we have to ask really, really good questions to get the answers that we're actually looking for. Now, I don't want to leave you with just that. And you guys all know that I absolutely love golden nuggets. And I want to leave golden nuggets all the way to the end for the real ones that always watch all the way through. Now, obviously, you're going to have a battle card to take with you. And I would print this out on a 3x5. I'm working on getting it printable so that way you can just buy it on our website if you wanted to. But it's a free download. There is no cost associated with having it. But other than that, my other favorite thing in the world is a tool called Fireflies or Plod. And I have Fireflies on my phone. I'll pull it up here. You can have Fireflies on your phone, and in here, it'll take all the notes, and hopefully it'll focus. It'll take all the notes. You can also hit transcribe, where it'll also give you the option to record audio. Now, check the local laws, because you want to make sure that you are allowed to record the other person, but you could just hit record and it'll transcribe the entire conversation. There's also a little thing called Plod. I don't have one because I don't go out in the field all that much. I wish I did. I used to always record my calls. It's about the size of a handful of credit cards, and it sticks in your pocket. Right now at the price, it's about $150. I will leave a link down below. But the beautiful part about that is you can have that. It'll record the entire conversation. You could drop it right in a pocket in your shirt and have all of the information for you to go back, digest. Maybe you missed something. Listen to always get better. But also when you deliver that proposal, you can bring up all the problems that they stated previously. And that is truly how you overcome a price objection, by doing the process correctly to give you the best possible chance at success. I hope you found some massive value in this video. This video is long overdue. I'm super excited I got to make it for you. I love the heck out of you guys. As always, there are tons of super helpful links down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.